right, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the webinar today. Probably have some more attendees join in as we go forward, but I just figure let's go ahead and jump right in. So today's webinar, we're going to be covering the basics of integrating IDX Broker with Squarespace. And we're basically just going to touch on the basics here. While we incorporate most cleanly with WordPress websites, Squarespace is as we probably recognize, very popular website builder. And there are ways that, you can integrate our product with Squarespace websites as well. It's very easy to do so. So just to kind of give you an idea of what our agenda is going to look like today, we're going to touch on how you can integrate your IDX page tools. Basically, we'll show you how you can put in IDX Broker pages and save links into your website navigation. So, we'll cover like the different ways that you can do that. And we're also going to talk about how we can integrate internal Squarespace page links. So basically, if you have one of your own Squarespace pages, how you can go about adding in links or, adding links to buttons so that people can kind of use your website and then navigate to our pages. And then lastly, we're going to finish off with how we can incorporate widgets onto your pages. And I'll show you an example. I've basically created a landing page where we'll integrate a carousel widget as well as a map search widget on an internal landing page. So, and then we'll have a little QA session at the end and see where we go from there. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive right in. So right now I've got my IDX Broker account logged in and everything there. And I've also got in another tab my Squarespace website. So, on the Squarespace side, if you're logged into your website, this is what it will look like here. You'll have the navigation over on the left-hand side, and then, you see a preview of your homepage right there. So the first step, before we dive in, we usually recommend that before we start integrating things onto the Squarespace side, that we disable Ajax. And so this is a setting that's found under Design, Site Styles, and then there will be an option that shows up that says Enable Ajax Loading. We usually recommend disabling this because this loading is, popular with several Squarespace templates, but it will conflict with the way that our widgets embed on your page. So, in case you don't know, Ajax loading is basically sort of like a lazy loading kind of thing where your Squarespace site will cut some corners to load the page faster. But, oftentimes what happens is, the things like embedded code, such as our widgets, usually don't make the cut when it comes to, cutting down time on loading. So we'll just disable that. And then we'll just make sure to click Save in the upper left-hand corner. Yeah, so that's usually one step that we recommend. Sometimes that will happen where, like, if your widgets aren't pulling through or something like that, oftentimes that's the case. But from here, we'll start off by playing around with the menu items. So, if you just got a new IDX Broker website and you wanted to integrate your pages, the best way to do that, well, one of the first steps that we recommend is just adding them to your website navigation. And it's pretty easy to do that. If you go to Home, and then if you just go to pages, it will pull up your primary navigation section here. And this is what I've got set up on my website, but yours will probably look different than that. And it's pretty easy. So, as you can see, you have these bigger, broader categories here. So these are like the different menu items that I've got up here. And what you can do is if you just wanted to add like a link, let's say that you wanted to add, a search page here. I've already got a section here that's dedicated to search. And if I wanted to add in a search link, all I have to do is go into my IDX Broker account. And then from here, I'll just go to Design, Website, and then Page Templates. And then let's say I just want to put like my basic search page in there. All I have to do is just click Link in the link column. And then I'll just copy this URL. So I can just click Copy Link Address. And then back on the Squarespace side, all I have to do here is just for this menu item, click Add Page. And then, this will expand out and everything. And for, these top ones will be for linking your own internal Squarespace pages. But if you wanted to link to like an external page, like our IDX Broker service, you would just use this link option here. And the link title, I'll just put, like basic search, but you could name this whatever you wanted. And then the link, I would just paste in that IDX Broker link, then click Save. And then now if I hover over the search menu item, it's going to have basic search right there, and it's going to link to my basic search page. So yeah, I mean, that's how you can link our internal pages there. Just to clarify, when you're working with your navigation, you can choose to just, in your navigation bar, just have an external link. So like, I just click that plus icon, click link. And so if you wanted to make it its own standalone item, you can just make, your search page just like separate from the rest. So yeah, it'll add it as its own kind of like option up there in the upper right hand corner. But what I did for this menu item is I've created a folder, and this is good for if you want, like when people hover over it, to have multiple, kind of like a sub menu item. So from there, if you wanted to create a folder of your own, you would just click plus and then click folder. And then that's pretty much all you have to do. Then you give it a name, and then those are different like sub menu items that you can have. But yeah, you probably knew that already. I'll just go ahead and remove this. And then you can do the same thing for, like your saved links that you've created. Basically our saved links are like our version of landing pages, and it's pretty easy to integrate those as well. Let me show you where that's at on the IDX broker side here. So I'm just going to go back into the account, and if you just go to design, website, and then saved links, and then, this will be where you have any of your saved links that you've already created in the past. And let's say I just wanted to add another one in there. Maybe I wanted to add in Corvallis. All I have to do is, to get the link, I have to preview it first. And then, if I wanted to add this to my Squarespace website, I could just click in here and then copy it. Let's hit copy. And then back on the Squarespace side, if I wanted to add it to, let's say, the community section, I'll just expand that out, add page, and then click link. And then I'll just paste in that save link that I made. And then I'll just say Corvallis, click save. And now in the communities menu item, it's going to have Corvallis available. So yeah, that's one way that a lot of our clients, integrate our IDX broker service on their website. So this is how you would do it on the Squarespace side. All right, and then so that's how you can integrate things in your website navigation. But what a lot of people do is they'll have their own targeted landing pages where they can, direct people to specific areas. Like they'll have a description of the community they want to focus on and everything. So let me just enable this page, and then I'll just I hit this page before, but I'll enable it now. And then if we just go to this Eugene page, I can kind of show you what I've done. So this is, where we're going to demonstrate how you can integrate your IDX broker service, and have internal links that will direct people around. So I've created a landing page here for the city of Eugene. That's where we're at here in IDX broker. And then, I've got a picture up here. I've integrated some widgets, have a brief description. And then this is another one of our IDX broker widgets. We'll get into more detail on how I did that. But for now, I'm just going to show you how you can integrate, your own IDX broker links within the page itself. So as you can see down here at the very bottom, I have a button here that says More Eugene Listings. And if I click on it, it's going to actually take me to that saved link that I created on the IDX broker side. So let me show you what I can do or what I did to set this up originally. It's pretty easy. And so all you have to do really, if you want to add new content to your Squarespace side, you can just double click and then it will take you into the editor. Or if that doesn't work, you can always just click edit in the upper left-hand corner here. And then it's going to take you into the page editor. So it's a nice visual kind of like editor that you can add in content. So I'll show you what I did here to make this button. It's really easy. I should get a Squarespace site myself. If you wanted to add a new part, you just go up here to the upper right-hand corner, and then click this little plus icon. And then, you have a number of different options you have. I'll just click button. And then, from there, I can change the text. So I'll say, more Eugene listings. And then the click-through URL would be the page that you want to take people to. So, back here on the IDX broker side, I would just find the saved link to, the one that I made. So I made this saved link for the city of Eugene. And then from there, I would just copy this link here, go back to the Squarespace side. And then for the click-through URL, I just paste that in. And then you can also adjust some other things too. Like if you want it to be a medium-sized button, you can make it large. So, you can have it aligned center or left or whatever you think works best for your website. But once you've got that ready, you just hit apply, And then once the button's in there, you can even click and then drag and drop it, putting it exactly where you want it to go. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty easy on the Squarespace side. That's what a lot of people do in case, like, it sort of helps direct people to the places that you want them to go, and then helps you capture leads using our service that way. And then yeah, same story for, like you can do the same for our saved links or our internal search pages. So, if you wanted to take people there, using landing pages is a very good way to direct traffic that way. And once you've got everything set the way that you want it to, you would just click Save up here in the upper left-hand corner. And so that's for linking internal links. Like a lot of people do that, but a lot of people like to integrate our widgets as well. And if we go back to that page, but we had that map search widget that was up there, and then the carousel widget that was down below. Right now, it's in safe mode, so it's not going to show you the widget themselves. But if you go to that page, it will display it there. So let me show you what I did here in order to pull our widgets through. There we go. I'm just going to remove those and I'll show you what I did. So I'll just get rid of that. And so for IDX Broker, the way that we implement our widgets is by using embed codes. So that's this little bit of HTML that we give you and have you copy and paste it in order to get our widget to pull through. So all I have to do on this side is just go back up here to the upper right hand corner and then click on this little plus icon. And if I wanted to add one of our widgets in, I would just go down and then in the more section, click on this code block here. So if I click on that, it's going to give me this little code box that shows up. And then what I have to put in here would just be the script from the IDX Broker side. So let's go back. And then in order to grab that would just be under Design, Website, and then Widgets. And once you're there, you would just choose the widget that you wanted to use. So, for here, I made a carousel widget for Eugene Squarespace. So all I have to do is click on this icon to view the code. And then in this little box that shows up down here will be that HTML that I need. I'm just going to copy that. Back on the Squarespace side, I'll just get rid of this. And then I'm just going to paste that in. And then hit apply. And then, it'll pull it in at the very bottom here, but then again, I can just drag it up. Maybe I want it to be right above that button that I made before. So I'll just, and right below the description here. So once I'm good with that, just click save. Then you can always preview it in safe mode too. And then if you wanted to just check up on that page, probably the best way to do it I found is actually just going to the page itself on the Squarespace side. Yeah, sometimes you just have to log out in order to go there. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so then that's how the widget will pull through. So yeah, I mean, that's how you can get our carousel widgets. I also like to show people the map search can be a little bit tricky. There's a little bit of extra code that you have to plug in there too. So, if up here we wanted to add in that map search up above, the way that we would do that would be to, go back to the page you're on before and then click edit. So, we're back in the editor here. And then same story, we just go up here to the upper right, click that plus icon, and then in the more section, just click code, and then it's going to give us that little code block again. And for the map search widget, the way that you would do that, back on the IDX Broker side, once you've created that map search, and that's a platinum level feature. If you wanted to, you just have to go over here to the right, click on View Code, and then it will give you two different scripts to plug in. The one below, because we're using, like our map search, these are like scripts that are required in order to pull like, the MapQuest pins and the GPS data and all that. So, you basically just have to copy this and plug it in first. So we'll put that in. And then below, we'll just go back. And then this top part will be the actual script for the widget itself. So we'll just copy that. Back to the Squarespace side, paste it in, hit apply, and then we've got that in there now, and I'm just going to click and then drag it up here at the top. Yeah, so if I want that there, I'll just hit save. And then if I want to check and see what that looks like again, I'll just view the page. Just scroll down here. And then there it is. Yeah, so that's like a map of the Eugene area. When people drag around, you can also customize our widgets within the IDX Broker side too to get this set up just the way that you want. Yeah, so pretty pretty easy, honestly. Like with WordPress, we're more familiar with that side of things because we have a plugin through that platform that kind of incorporates a lot of this stuff too. But it's just as easy on the Squarespace side as I found out here. But yeah, this is a really handy tool to have at your disposal here. In case you probably know this too, but like you can also expand this out. I found like when you're editing the page, if you hover over here, you can kind of, just click and then drag it and widen it out if you need it to take up more space on the page. Some people like to have it like skinny just so that it's more visible on like mobile devices and things like that. But yeah, this is a really good tool to use for sure. But yeah, let me just get this set up the way that I want. And then I'll hit save. But yeah, a lot of customization options that are available to you here. And I mean, you could probably create a better page than I made for you today. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I've got for this webinar. Mainly it was just focusing on, integrating like your IDX broker pages and widgets on your Squarespace pages. And, there's any number of ways that you can, incorporate that. But yeah, I mean, we've got plenty of time here. I mean, those are the things that I wanted to cover today. But if anyone in the audience had any specific questions or things that that you wanted to explore, I can definitely play around and see what I can come up with you here. Oh, Alana, to answer your question, so with IDX Broker, we're kind of like a third-party vendor of IDX data. So, we get that data from the MLS, so maybe like if you have an account with us, like it would be through your MLS in Massachusetts. And then what we do on our side is we take that data and then, create pages and widgets, like tools that you can use in order to take that raw data and then display it on your website. So, that might be, if you're using like the MLS through them, they might have some different options on their side. Oh yeah, Alana, to answer your question about that, we do have some webinars that we've done in the past. This webinar specifically will be about it's focusing on Squarespace, but there are a number of webinars that we've done in the past here. Let me show you the best place to go for, anything that we've done there because we definitely do have some, things available. So let me just pull up Broker. Yeah, and if you just go to our IDX Broker YouTube page, one of the first one that will pop up is WordPress and IDX Broker. So this is one of our more popular ones. That's actually my voice. So, but yeah, I definitely recommend checking that out too. Oh, Carolyn. So the way that you can do that, you would just go into the account, and if you wanted to add in like Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach, or like multiple locations, the way that you would do that, you can do it either through widgets or saved links. And let's say I just wanted to create a new save link that has both of those areas. I don't have the MLS probably on my side, but if you want to add in like multiple like communities or areas, it's pretty easy to do that. The best way that I've found is if you wanted to create like a new saved link, you just click create link in the upper right hand corner. And then when you're building these out, use the advanced search page. This is going to be the one that will pull in your MLS's specific fields and property types and statuses. So probably those community pages. So if we just move on to the next step here. And then in the second step, it's going to load up the advanced search page. And then if you wanted to add in like multiple communities or cities or things like that, scrolling down here to the bottom, we'll pull up the fields here. And then, if you have specific areas or neighborhoods, like you'll probably see, it's going to populate with data that you're getting from your MLS. So you're probably going to see like Myrtle Beach or North Myrtle Beach, and then you can add those areas into the search criteria. And then that way you'd be able to filter it down to only bring back listings that are in those particular communities. Yeah, good question. Oh, and also a follow up to that, if you only want like new properties to display, the way that, that may be a field that's in your MLS too, but we've also got some options available on our side. The max days listed field when you're creating like saved links or widgets is a really good way to do that too. So maybe you only wanted to come back with listings that have been the MLS for like, 2 days time or something like that. You just click 2. And then, that's going to restrict it to only bring back listing data that's been there for like 48 hours. So that's a way that's how a lot of people create like newest listings, pages and widgets and things like that. Yes, Alana, to answer your question, that we do have a Facebook business page integration. The way that you would do that is just go to design, website, and then page templates. And then down here below, there's under other pages, there's the Facebook option that's available. There's a helpful like knowledge base article that we have on this. Let me just take you to that real quick. So if you just go to our knowledge base, and then probably just typing in Facebook will be all you have to do. And then once you're there, you would just click on Facebook business page. And this will give you like the step-by-step details on how to get this all set up. Pretty much it's just, the steps are getting the Facebook page ID and then plugging it into the site. And then basically you could add the Facebook page app. And then, the last step is just customizing it from there. So, this is probably going to be the most helpful resource to, address those things too. Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing, James. They recently updated their API so that in order to integrate this, the only way to do that is with, if you have 2,000 or more followers, which is unfortunate because, we built it before that Facebook changed that. So yeah, that's kind of the bad part about that. But I mean, some workarounds people have done is they've just taken like saved links and pages and like linked that in. But that's just kind of a bummer. Any other questions? Oh, not a problem, James. Yeah, glad that I tried to explain it as clear as possible. I mean, for myself, I'm more familiar with WordPress. That's, obviously we have the integration with them, and this is actually one of my first times playing around with the Squarespace website, and it's pretty nice. And another note is that we're going to work on building out some more documentation. Maeve, who is managing the chat, she and I are working on putting together some knowledge base articles and things like that to kind of go into more detail on this too. Yeah, because it can get a little bit tricky working with a different platform like that. Yeah, no problem, Alana. Definitely. Yeah, that YouTube channel is probably the one that I usually direct people to. One note about that, some of those videos may have the older navigation. So, if you're not seeing the menu over here on the left, it'll use our old navigation items. But basically the content of the page is going to stay the same. It's just, the navigation slightly different. So yeah, just a forewarning just in case. Oh, good question, Carolyn. I think, yeah, so you should be able to do something like that using a little bit of custom styling. So for example, to answer your question about highlighting new listings or open houses and things like that, let me do a quick search here because I think what you can do, so I know you can do this for open houses for sure. So let me just pull this up here. And if a property has an open house, the way that I would do it, and at IDX Broker, we're not necessarily like programmers or like custom developers or things like that. But what you can do is, I know that pulling up the inspector here, you can kind of latch onto so for example here, this is a selector for the open house, and then you probably want to make this look a little bit better than what I'm doing here, but maybe if I just wanted to change the color to make it like red and then give it like a background of like white so it really pops and stands out, you probably want someone to make it look a little bit better. But the way that you can do that on the IDX Broker side is just to basically latch onto that selector. So, this is going to be the selector you'd want to copy. So if I just do that, and I'm just going to go back. Oh, also this specific template, Carolyn, to answer your question about, getting the heart on the page. This is our home atlas template. It's a specific results page template that has that option available there. So I'll show you where that's located here. To change the template of your pages, that's just going to be under the edit link in the edit page layout section. And it's the home atlas template. And it is a platinum level feature. So just in case, if you have a light level account, this would be restricted. So this is where you would find it though. To go back to that little CSS change, that would just be under design, website, and then custom CSS. This is where you can go into, add any kind of like custom styling to your pages and things like that. So if I wanted that to apply to my IDX pages, I would just do that. Oh, that doesn't look right. Let me just go back here real quick. All I have to do really is just copy that. I'll do that. Color red. Background white. I'll do that. And I might need to put in some important tags, but if we just refresh the page, we'll see if that took effect. It doesn't look like it. Yeah, so I'll have to make sure that it overrides here. Right. Yeah, just a little trial and error here. But yeah, I mean that'd be how you could do it, just integrating that here. Oh, I know what I did. I think it's just had the wrong selector here. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, if you need to make any custom styling changes, yeah, that's how you could go for that. I'll go ahead and exit out of this. But yeah, good questions. Yeah, there's maybe just time for one or two more in case you have any. Yeah, definitely willing to take your questions here. Well, I think I'm gonna call it there then. But yeah, feel free if you're typing up a question to finish that out. But in case you needed to follow up with us at all, or reach out to someone else on tech support, the best way to do that, let me just take you there actually. It would just be over here on the left-hand side, and if you click on this support tab, the knowledge base is, if you click on knowledge base, it'll take you here to where our technical documentation is. So this is our most up-to-date resource that we have. But you can also reach us at help@idxbroker.com. You can also feel free to give us a call at 1-800-421-9668. So best time to get a hold of us would be Monday through Friday from 6 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Pacific Standard Time. You can also feel free to chat in if you're already logged into the account. You would just go down here to the lower right-hand corner, and then where you're seeing this little chat bubble icon, you can just click on that, and then you'll be put on with like one of our support reps that's logged into the live chat. So that's like how you can, reach us that way too. You can keep working from your page. We'll already have your account pulled up and everything like that. So that'd be the way I do it personally. But thank you all for joining us today. I know it was a lot to kind of cover, but we're going to have this webinar recorded, so you can always refer back to it later in case you need to follow up on this. Thank you so much for joining us today, and hope to hear from you soon. Take care.